Meals on Wheels is a crucial part of our nutrition services, especially for older adults in Eastern Maine. It's really an opportunity to provide them with a nutritious meal once a day, as well as give a check-in, a well check once a week with our volunteers that go out to drive, and then give them an opportunity to not worry about where one of their meals is coming from. In some cases, we get feedback it may be the only meal they eat for the entire day. And so we want to make sure it's full of the nutrients and nutritious value that they need to continue to thrive in their home. So the history in the last couple of years has been quite significant to be where we are today. And a large part of that is COVID-19. During COVID, we saw our numbers here tripled from in the 300 to 400s, I think at the height, up to about 1,200 people on the program. We received tons of additional funding. Way that the federal level is really just go out and feed people. Don't worry about all the restrictions, just make sure people are fed. We've come to find out post-pandemic that most of those people that came on during COVID-19 still qualified for the program, and it tended to be more of just an unknown thing that was available to them. And now that people are more aware of it, more qualified people are getting on the program. So as we've come through the pandemic, we still were sitting around 800 to 900 consumers rather than back down to 300 to 400 we were beforehand. And all of that additional funding from COVID disappeared, and we still had a huge volume of people. And due to that, we had to cut back because we don't have the funding to sustain so many individuals. And at this point, we now have only about 500 people on the program with a wait list of over 200. Our volunteers are the only reason we can do what we do. We have over 200 volunteers through all of our sites in our 4 counties, and without them, our staff could not pack and drive out all of these meals every single week.
It started in October 2023. What occurred is I retired a few months before that, and I always had in the back of my mind that I'd like to do some volunteer work. When my wife and I, raised 3 kids, we both had very good jobs that we liked, but a lot of hours and really didn't have much time for volunteering. So I thought this would be a good gig. Did a little bit of research, liked their mission and what they did, and saw the Meals on Wheels, thought that would be a good fit for me. Just a chance to get out of the house for a little while and say hi to some folks in the community. I like getting out and meeting the people and just talking to them for a little bit. You can tell that, some of them unfortunately don't get out as much as we do, and I think they like the contact. And my dad was like that. He liked to get out and about and see people, and that's what I like to do. I think it's valuable for them. I can see that there are a few folks that, really kind of like to keep to themselves, and you usually just knock on a door and say hello and maybe a little bit of small talk. Whereas a few others, you can see that, oh, wow, this is a chance to interact and talk for a bit. And so I think they like that, they relish that, and I'm a talker, so it's a good chance for me to, to interact with some other folks instead of just at home. I think it's very important. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10 for sure. I mean, you can see, a lot of us are very fortunate to be in the circumstances we are. We don't have to worry about living day to day or week to week, but you see other folks that obviously they do, but they have this agency to help them out and get through that. And I think it's a real boost to them. I think it's a good opportunity again to get out and see people, but it's just a good reinforcement. There are people out there that need a little bit of help, and it's not like I'm 24/7 with it. So if I can do a little bit once a week, I think it's well worth it. I would say, consider your circumstances and see. I know you're in control of your own fate and so forth, but sometimes things are out of your control, and things happen to people. And there are some folks out there that really need help, and this helps them. And this is a great asset for them, and it's an agency that reaches throughout eastern Maine. It has a great reach, and I think it's well worth donating to.
My experiences with the program have been that I have been sent in the form of my delivering person, Dan, the most wonderful human being that could have crossed the threshold of my door. I can still prepare a meal, but I've got to do some thinking and some planning because I know I'm going to hurt getting up from my chair, going to the stove, or going to the refrigerator. And so being able to just pull a frozen meal out of the freezer, putting that in the microwave, and in 7 minutes, I've got a nice, warm, balanced, nutritional meal. And that means the world to me. I think that I would remind people that none of us will remain 28 all the time. And so as we age, we start noticing little things, little aches, little pains, maybe vision problems, maybe hearing problems. I think with the hip problem that I had, this was huge for me for about 3 to 4 years and incredibly, incredibly painful. So I don't see and feel any shame and in acknowledging that we all age. We will all go through various degrees of losses regarding our health. And so when that starts to happen, I think it's very important to be honest with yourself and to say, that person or this person or the other will also go through the same thing. And I know a lot of people who've already been through this, so I've helped other people in need. What is wrong with asking for a little help? I think it takes a strong person to ask for help. That you might actually be saving somebody's life, because a lot of people who are elderly in particular do not worry about balanced meals, or they may not even know what a balanced meal is. And so you may actually be saving somebody's life by donating. To keep a program that is doing so much good going, to me, is invaluable.
I was desperate. I was diagnosed legally blind, had 3 operations in each eye, and they've done all they can do. I lost my license, my little sports car, and I'm so used to doing everything for myself. I don't think it's been 4 years, because I think I took a year trying to not ask for help, trying to figure it out. And all my family, most of them live out west except one. So I said, well, I got to. And I called up the agency on aging, and my God, it happened to be a Monday when I called, and the following day was Tuesday, and I was brought some meals the very next day. And I tell you, they taste pretty darn good when you don't have anything. Especially, and they've been helping me ever since. So I appreciate them helping me so fast. That's how I got into it. I don't have any transportation very often, and it's really difficult when you can't drive yourself. And I took a cab a couple times, and they ripped me off big time, and they made me wait when sitting with my groceries, when they said they would wait if I hurried, and I did hurry, and I came out and he was gone. Second time, he said he'd wait, and I saw him leaving before I got into the store. When a person is really a shut-in, boy, that person that's bringing you that Meals on Wheels is like in your own mind and heart, becomes like part of your family. Oh, he's coming to visit. It's just as important as getting those dinners. It really is, to me anyway, and I bet it would be to a lot of other people that are like me that don't want to ask for help. Well, most of the Meals on Wheels go to seniors. It's a pity if any senior has to die before their time because they can't feed themselves. That's why this program is so important. I think people don't realize how important it really is, because after old people work all their lives, I don't think they should go out that way. I think that they should always have a nice warm meal. Yeah. Well, I just want to thank everybody that has anything to do with it, because their time is that they give is, you can't put a price on that. Really, it means everything. I'm not a person that cries, but every time I think of these people doing it and donating their time, taking the bother and doing that, it does bring tears to my eyes, because I think that, well, before I got them a couple of times, really, I had 2 cans of string beans on the shelf. And so if I didn't have Meals on Wheels, I'd have starved to death.